Gemini. Hi, my name is Audrey Alison, and thank you for joining me for your April 2015 forecast for the month. This month is exciting for Geminis. There is a lot of first house activity, which is kind of off by a month or so, I would think, that normally typically takes place in the time of May and June, which is your sun sign time. But let's just start off at the top, and I want to thank you also for subscribing and liking and sharing these. I really appreciate your support, Gemmy. You know how much I love you. Being a Gemini myself, you're good peeps. Okay, so let's start off with an eclipse. How about that? On the 4th of April, we have our full moon total lunar eclipse at 14 degrees Libra, another air sign. This works for you. This is your 5th house of romance and children and creative endeavors. Now, just like the full moon does, bring awareness and a culmination and an illumination in the sector that it falls, an eclipse tends to eclipse things out that no longer serve us in that sector it falls as well. So there's a realignment here, maybe in your potential dating situation, in your romantic suitors, maybe you're eclipsing out a creative hobby that you just don't have time for right now or is not really working for you. The eclipse can work in so many different ways, but it would make sense that if you were dating more than one person, you would go through a process of weeding out the weak at this time and who's making the cut and who isn't. Also, for those of you with children, your children could be going back to school or doing something at this time where they're no longer in your grasp. They're leaving the nest at this time. On the 8th, but before I skip, an eclipse is intense, so lighten your load, your schedule on the 4th if you can. I really wouldn't recommend public speaking on the 4th, the eclipse energy. It's a little bit, for a Gemini, could be very tongue-tied, similar to a retrograde, it's a nebulous energy. Mercury, or Geminis like people to be direct, and they also like people to say what they mean. And in eclipse energy, in both ways, you might be miscommunicating or just a little blurry. On the 8th of April, Jupiter goes direct in Leo. We love that, sextiling you. Okay, so Jupiter direct at 12 degrees Leo in your 3rd house of communications now through the 11th of August. Now that he's direct, he can do what it is he's supposed to do when he's trining Uranus up in Aries, stationed in your 11th house. So when Jupiter is now direct, he's working on the faith that he's giving you. The optimism can now be there in full effect in your communication sector, in your client sector, your relationships with your siblings, your local neighborhood, your local travel, and contracts and negotiations and publications and marketing and things like that can now really take all of the benefits of Jupiter and Leo for you at that time. On the 11th, Venus, this is good news, Gemmy. Venus is entering Gemini. You're going to be looking banging. She's there in the 1st house of self through May 7th. So from April 11th to May 7th, you are aesthetically at your game, at your best. And she's also money. So the combination of love, beauty, and money can work for Gemini. You need some extra dough to get something handled for the 1st house of self, for the body, for the gym membership, for the facial, something aesthetic. Venus will see that happening for you. On the 14th, Mercury enters Taurus. This is your 12th house through April 30th. Mercury, the planet of communication, nonstop communication, in a very quiet house of psychic ability, the mind, premonitions, and dreams, and intuitiveness. For 16 days, you need to keep track of your dreams, what information you're getting when you're sleeping. There's contact here. There could be contact from other people. I said this for Cancer because you had a similar placement. Contact through people who have passed. So keep that in mind. On the 16th of April, Pluto will retrograde at 15 degrees Capricorn. Pluto's been there since 2008. He will be there another 7 years. So he's not going anywhere too quickly. So this is your 8th house. Okay, Pluto naturally governs the 8th house, which would be Scorpio on the solar wheel, but for you it's Capricorn. So when he retrogrades, he's even deeper. He's more intense into this 8th house of property, in the occult, death, sex, intimacy, shared resources and settlements, legalities. 8th house is huge, but it's a deep house, and Pluto retrograding in it is even deeper. So those of you waiting for settlements or waiting to hear back regarding pending legal situations, this intensity of this could pick up in the second half of April for sure. The intensity of the wait, I mean, it could just get a little too tense for you. Or if you're waiting for property to sell, that's the same thing. Same house, property is 8th house, and Pluto is the intensity. On the 18th, we have our new moon. This is at 28 degrees Aries in this 11th house of friendships. Now, I like this. And goals and wishes. The 11th house is clubs, organizations, social sector, and your goals. So Gemini, your new moon on the 18th, you want to set your intentions for the full year. Where do you see yourself, your goal in 365 days? Write it down on that new moon on the 18th. Put it somewhere special. Don't touch it for a year. The sun enters Taurus on the 20th. Wherever the sun is, that is our focus. The sun is the life force. Now he's going to meet up with Mercury in that 12th house. The sun conjunct Mercury in the 12th. I don't know a Gemini alive that's not going to be channeling some information. They probably won't even know it. If you don't do that on a daily basis, you're going to be like, where did I just know that from? Also, the feeling of claircognizance, of the knowing of something without knowing why it is you know it. This crazy bee is flying around me. The knowing of something without knowing how it is you're affirmatively knowing this. That kind of energy is the sun conjunct Mercury in the 12th, the receiving of information. Blessed information. Now on the 30th, your ruling planet, trip on this, your ruling planet leaves Taurus, where he was for 16 days, and he enters Gemini. So Mercury's coming home. And we like him home because we are at our best when Mercury's in our house. We're like, we could do a million things at once, and it keeps us very, very busy, and we shed weight because our adrenaline's up. But when Mercury gets into Gemini on the 30th, he's there. He's going to retrograde on May 18th. And he's going to retrograde at 14 degrees. And then he's going to go all the way back to 3 degrees. And then he's going to go through Gemini all over again. So Gemmy, Merc is going to be with you from April 30th until July 8th. And I don't like the retrograde in our sign because that's just, you might want to just put some duct tape over your mouth, but that's going to be next month's forecast. We'll get to that then. At least, in April, it's just the one day. He's in your sign, but he's not even retrograde until the 18th of May. So communications, contracts, paperwork, clients, negotiation, marketing. I mean, you're talking, you're going places, you're talkative. I don't think anyone could keep you quiet. I want to get to your cards. I want to see what's coming up for Gemini. And as usual, if you'd like to read with me, I'm available all through the week. I'm at audreyallison.com and on Facebook at Audrey Allison, Astrology and Tarot. Gemmy, let's see. What is up for April? Lady of Swords. I love it. Okay, so this is the musician or singer, artist, poetry writer. The Two of Swords. A debate or actively questioning, seeking advice, seeking wisdom. Four of Cups. Feeling a little stuck. And the last card, more cups. The Six of Cups, the nurturer, patience. Okay. For those of you Geminis who are expressive, which most of us are, making records, writing albums, or actually, it doesn't have to be just music, even though she is playing it and it is an important focus of this card. It could be painting even, some kind of artistry. But the Lady of Swords is the Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. It's representing you and the females in this reading. Now for you male Geminis out there, you might need to connect with this air sign female for sure. And you might meet her while she's singing. Or you might already know who I'm talking about. These two cards together, Gemmy, I want you to let it go. I want you to stop feeling stuck over someone else's response to you. Who cares what anyone else is thinking? It honestly doesn't matter. It has no impact on your life at all. So there's no need to feel like you can't progress until you hear back from them, until you make your point. You know what? Screw it. All you need is to nurture yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. So you take care of you. This is the woman pouring modestly water into the earth. She's hoping that it will give back to her. She wants, flowers to grow from here, the fruits of her labor. Let this combativeness go and take care of the self. Don't focus on the external influence right now. Actually, turn to music. It could be very inspiring and very comforting, nurturing to the soul. Thanks, Jemmy. I love you, and I'll see you next month. Have a sweet month, and I'll see you in May.